Like anytime that we talk about Clarence Thomas, I feel like that should be foundational. We need to uplift Anita Hill, her story, and what she experienced.
How did this turn into man versus woman and a culture war? Was her IG announcement necessary? What happened to discretion? I'll kick this one off. Honestly, it's a war on bad.
Name five French Montana songs that you want to hear in that battle.
Now you're being rude because ever since you left me, more money, more cars, more clothes, more shows. Ever since you left me,
I'm not.
Want to fight on a plane? Can't be Spirit no more because there's no more Spirit.
Yeah, but have to fight on JetBlue. Welcome to What Just Happened. I am Alexa Layton and I am joined by my lovely co-host here. And we're ready to give y'all a great show today. Starting with my main man,
Alvin Blanco.
Al, it's your girl, Miss Lissa. We back in effect.
Peace is key.
Peace. No pork is pork. Peace, God. What's today's mathematics this week?
And today we, as usual, have a jam-packed episode for y'all. And we always start with the main thing. And today's main thing is SCOTUS has gutted the Voting Rights Act. What does this mean for the Black vote and representation?
First of all, what does SCOTUS mean? Because what you're not going to do is go SCOTUS on us.
SCOTUS
like, who is that?
SCOTUS is an acronym for the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
Y'all don't want to say no words no more. Good God.
POTUS,
FLOTUS, SCOTUS. Good grief.
Supreme Court of the United States of America is a long
But it
title.
sounds so prestigious when you say it. When you say SCOTUS, I think they gave out Metro cards. Like, what is SCOTUS? It's like MTA, SCOTUS, and then New Jersey Transit. Like, SCOTUS sound like the, like, you know, like the boats in Staten Island. Like, oh, the Wu-Tang used to take the SCOTUS every day to school. Like,
you know,
SCOTUS is crazy.
I can agree with that. I'll tell you.
So the Supreme Court Justice of what?
But exactly that. That sentiment is accurate. Like SCOTUS, because what the new decision means is, all right, let's go back. So back in 2013, there was a decision called Shelby County versus Holder. And prior to that decision, when counties or governments, local governments wanted to change their voting laws, they had to get pre-clearance from the Supreme Court. And the reason why they had to get pre-clearance is because there was a presumption that the previous voting rights had been affected by black codes and other types of Jim Crow laws. And so there was a presumption. So when you wanted to change the laws in a town or a state or a city, you had to get pre-clearance with regard to voting. In 2013, the Supreme Court struck down that pre-clearance. So now cities, states, and towns could change their voting rights, the way that they administrate voting. And when they change the way that they administrate voting, they could do it, and they could do it in a way that's discriminatory. So now if I want to challenge that, there's no more presumption. Now I have to go to court, I have to sue, and I have to go through the process. But now somebody gets elected during that process. And so it just made it harder. So now fast forward 2026, there was this idea that whenever a voting right was challenged, it was challenged on this notion that previous voting bills had been either discriminatory, either intentionally or by mistake, right? And so now this new law, the way that the Supreme Court is interpreting the Voting Rights Act now is saying that, hey, there's not this, again, restating 2013, there's not this presumption anymore. So now when there's a change, when there's a request to change a law, it has to be based on intent, not just impact. So if I'm suing to say, hey, the laws need to change, I have to show that the laws were intended to be discriminatory, not just that they were discriminatory.
That's crazy.
That makes it much harder, right?
It's like you gotta prove that your mother didn't. She meant to burn the chicken, not that it's burnt. It might be burnt. It might not be edible, but your mother didn't mean to burn it.
And the whole point of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was to protect citizens from being discriminated against, right? From these poll taxes or written tests. And it was all purely to stop black people from voting. It was all about disenfranchising black people in the South. So the feds were like, look, can't do this. Jim Crow was technically supposed to be over, but now, 250-year anniversary of America, the Supreme Court decides, you know what, let's bring Jim Crow back, because that's really what it is. They don't want black people to be represented, and then it trickles down to other people, right? Because who benefited from this as well? Besides black people, Latinos gained representatives, Asians gained representatives, but now they want Congress to be as white as possible, and it's already white.
Well, the way that they substantiate it, and just to be clear, Clarence Thomas, a black person, voted for this, right? But the way that they substantiate it is they say that, well, the world has changed. And because the world has changed, there's new ways that voting is being administrated. And also, black people aren't a monolith. There are so many black people that vote across different issues. And so now we can't just say that, oh, well, you're discriminating against black people. Now, now there is, I would say, an excuse to say, oh, well, we're actually just politically, realigning, right? And I think that that's what makes it a little bit confusing, and I think that that's also what makes it challenging for us.
Yeah, and now they could just wipe. I'm sorry not to cut you off. They could just wipe out whole, a whole black neighborhood that had this representative. They just wipe it out. Oh no, we don't need that anymore. There's no racism. There's no discrimination. Let's just everybody get a fair shake.
But everybody's not getting a fair shake. Call to action also for us, because the another way that it works though is, hey, there's a bunch of black Republicans over there. There's a bunch of black Democrats over there, and so having one black representative for them doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so that's where we have to do some work. And we don't necessarily need to all be in the same party, but we all need to get in line in terms of what are our value systems. And that's key.
Definitely. Yeah. And going back to the intent part, isn't it damn near impossible to prove someone's intent? Especially when the laws were so old.
Yeah. Like the idea that I can easily prove that, that you may not like, or you may have a bias, right, against something, right? Or there's a practice that's biased. But for me to say that you are intending, I have to get into like your frame of mind.
Yeah.
How is that, how is that going to be established?
Pattern history, okay? Because y'all wrote these rules when y'all was being extra racist. So we know your intent. That's why you trying to make it great again, because that's when y'all was being crazy. So based off of that and y'all slogan, we know what y'all intended to do. Stop playing us with our broken stove. We need a new stove because y'all burning everything. Our mother may not have intended to burn it, but the stove is old and we need a new one, and stop gaslighting us. Y'all like how I did that? Thank you.
But it goes back to your point that SCOTUS isn't this prestigious thing anymore.
Yeah.
Because they out here running amok, just doing whatever Trump wants.
And y'all don't even want to say it no more. We know we can't trust y'all because y'all the same as LOL and SMH. So why would we ever? Y'all KFC at this point. Yeah. We can't trust you.
They're literally they're a branch of government. Yeah. They're supposed to be a check on everybody, but they're like litigating and making decisions that's really not.
Clarence Thomas's wife is a right-wing activist.
Right. And they take all these fancy trips with never receive. It's ugly out there.
I don't want to date no man that's named Clarence, because you need clearance to do everything. You got clear this, clear that. I don't want you. I don't want that.
I mean, and let's not forget Anita Hill. I just like honestly, Anita, like anytime that we talk about Clarence Thomas, I feel like that should be foundational. We need to uplift Anita Hill, her story, and what she experienced at the hands of Clarence Thomas.
She need a mountain. Anita Hill need a mountain, and we need to stand on a soapbox and give her flowers. No doubt. Stop playing with Anita. Say her name.
All right. Well, moving on to our next segment. Wait, run that back. Meg and Klay Thompson.
Oh, gosh. Shall we running that back?
It's been ran into the ground. But there's drama surrounding their breakup, specifically Meg going on Instagram to announce it. How did this turn into man versus woman and a culture war? Was her IG announcement necessary? What happened to discretion? I'll kick this one off. Honestly, it's a war on bad. I mean, it's a war on women in general. it's a war on bad. Let me expound. Okay.
Please explain.
Let me expound. I won't say all the men. I just think all the incellular men online turned this into a man versus woman war because these types of men, they don't like to see women being loved, specifically not bad or specifically not women that don't fall in line with their idea of what a woman should be. So a woman like Meg Thee Stallion, who is sexual, she has a voice, she's dominant, accomplished, yes,
and tall,
and beautiful, beautiful, and yes, they're intimidated by women like Meg Thee Stallion. So when they see a woman like that get into a seemingly loving relationship, the man who chooses to love them is pegged as a square. Oh, he is square, he lame, he is simp. All these terms are derogatory terms to describe a man who is just being in love with somebody. Like, he's just a man in a relationship who's openly claiming their love for someone.
But isn't that the problem here? He's not claiming her
Was
anymore.
he in love with her?
Well, I'm gonna get to that point, right? Because that's just where, like, that's the basis.
Yeah, because y'all need to let a bad look. It's still a war.
Right.
They're not even letting you cheat.
They understand the war right now.
My bad.
They treat you badly.
My bad.
No, but initially when Meg and Klay got together, that was the consensus of these incellular type of men. Right now that Meg has told us all that they broke up because he was cheating on her, they are celebrating because they're like, yes, now he's not a square, he's not a simp, he's actually a real man because he cheated on her. F her. Like, and it's just, it's honestly very it's very rudimentary, it's very childish, but I do think that it was necessary for her, not necessary, but I do I'm happy that she did say something online, and all that discretion, like where's discretion, where's privacy? If you can get online and talk about your relationship and talk about all the happy times and post the boat that your man named after you and your trips and your vacations and the lovey kiss, blah, 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 all the things, then you can absolutely, when it ends, say it ended. She didn't go crazy and give us any details that we didn't need to hear. She said, my relationship is over because he cheated. Point blank, period. And I think that's also important to share because when you're a celebrity or just a person of influence, a certain amount of influence, people like to dehumanize you. People like to think, oh, look at her. She posted all these things that her man bought her, the cars, the boats, the vacations, the gifts. And their brain gets warped and they start to treat you like you're not human. Right? They have these parasocial relationships with you that are one-sided and they act like you're not a human being. So yes, as a human being, I was in a relationship. It's ended now. And that is a thing. My relationship can end. Everything doesn't have to be perfect all the time. And me and this man are over with. He cheated on me. And that's that. I don't see a problem with it. I think that when women get in relationships and they're vocal about the good parts, but private about the bad parts, it's misleading, right? And it's misleading to other women because it makes people think that people don't have problems. Like relationships don't go through ups and downs. There are no problems. And it also protects men from public scrutiny or scrutiny at all. Right? If you're only telling us that he's this great guy because he did all these things, but you're not telling us in the ways that he may have abused you, the way that he was a liar, a cheater, whatever, now everyone thinks he's perfect and not a human being either with flaws. So it does really a disservice to you to hold on to these secrets and kind of protect someone's image when no, they did you wrong and it's okay to say that.
But she,
go ahead.
I'm just gonna say just
We let the
one
bad
part.
bitches talk.
But she's still, I mean, thank you. I just feel like, I do agree with some of the things you said, but my only thing is, I feel like she didn't give us no middle ground. You went from, I love him, to he cheated. What happened, though? I need a little
that's
more.
what happened.
I
don't
need
need to give middle ground.
She did say he had mood swings.
Allegedly.
She said he had mood swings.
Allegedly.
Everything's alleged at this point, and I just feel like what's real don't need to be explained. I'm not a let's go on the internet kind of gal. And I mean, if you want to do that.
I'm just with Klay in this respect.
Of course you are.
It's private.
And that's
he didn't say he's not saying anything because I don't think that he necessarily has to. What she's alleging is that he was moody, which okay, that happens, and she's alleging that he didn't want to be in a monogamous relationship anymore, which apparently he communicated to her because she said he said it. So the idea that, or the framing of him as like a bad guy, I think is misplaced. I don't think that it necessarily means that we need to demonize her either. And I don't think it's about man versus woman as much as why do we even care? Why do we care about this couple who is like, quasi celebrity at this point? Sure, Megan Thee Stallion has, records and stuff like that, but I don't think anybody really cares.
We definitely don't care about them right now.
I think people care though, because it was all over the internet for days. They still talking about it now. So people care.
I think the level of
Martin don't got no new episode.
Right.
We got nothing to talk about.
Exactly.
Like we're not sure what's going on.
I think they care to a certain extent. It's just conversation.
Yeah.
It's just something to talk about, something to
But
talk
I don't
over.
think it's man versus woman as much as it's if Klay is your type of guy in terms of quiet, private, does whatever he does, or Megan is your type of girl where she's very public about how she's feeling. I think that's what it is, public versus private. I don't think it's man versus woman.
I think the man versus woman part comes from the men that are like
so happy,
celebrating that he cheated on her. Right? They're not exactly celebrating that they broke up. They're celebrating that he cheated on her.
The idea of maybe I'll just direct this at the other man on the panel. Right? Is why would anybody care if he cheated on her?
Because I say that the incels are on some old we told you. It's like they're celebrating, which is weak. Like any man would be like, yo, that's weak. Like, what are you doing?
Who celebrates something negative happening to somebody?
Why are you celebrating deception and negativity? Exactly. But that's what I mean. Like, it's coming from that incelier.
But I still feel like we don't know how deceptive he was because he did tell her he wasn't ready to continue in the monogamous.
And she doesn't necessarily say that he cheated.
That's what I'm saying.
She just put cheater in the at the like.
Cheater means he cheated. Cheater cheated. Yes, a cheater cheats. He cheated.
And I just also feel like she had to say like she had to put it public because she made the relationship so public. But I just feel like that's. She should have vetted him longer. Like, girl, like we just see.
I don't.
Is the foot okay?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
The heart is not healed. The foot is wrapped up, and you need to do some things first. Get in the booth.
The foot.
You jumped in a relationship before you jumped in a studio, and that's what I miss. I miss when y'all took heartache to a microphone and not to a mic, or please.
She took heartache to the microphone. She made a whole album.
My man, my baby.
Traumazine was the whole album about her last heartache. This lady's been going through a lot.
Wait, you listen to Traumazine?
No, I'm still confused.
And that's the point.
Not enough music.
That's the point. You're telling her to take it to the record, but you're not listening to it.
No, you know why? Because it's not good.
It's not good.
Exactly, but don't tell her take it to the put it on wax. When it's on wax, you just ain't listening.
No, but the wax can't be waxed.
I mean, when they first announced
you have to keep trying and try. What did Aaliyah say? If they don't first, you don't see. Dust yourself off and try again, Meg. You just gave up after one heartbreak. You know, Keisha Cole was angry for a couple albums, got teeth fixed. There was things you supposed to did first. Mary J. cut her hair up. She sung about chicken, crispy chicken. She did things first. You just went straight heartbreak album, new man. No,
she trying to heal. She trying to do different.
We needed the healed album.
I mean, her new album might be fire though.
Child.
Anyway,
she couldn't even stay on Broadway. That's how I know y'all not built like my girls was built.
She did a lot of Broadway shows.
Off of Klay Thompson.
Was that you?
I would have added dates. I got more business to attend to.
Not
What you
adding
talking
more
about?
dates.
I'm adding dates,
But have
new
you-
outfit, abs. Like, what you talking about? Moulin Rouge. More.
Have you seen the Broadway show though?
No.
I heard it's not that great.
Because that's what I'm
But
saying.
not because of her.
You sure?
But not because of her though. I heard it's not that great because it's like this revived rendition of Moulin Rouge, and all the songs that they sing are renditions of like Bruno Mars songs and songs that already
Is she singing in
exist.
it?
Not really. She's like the house mom character, so she's not singing.
Gotcha.
Well, her run is over, right? She's not doing it anymore.
That's what I'm saying. She ended it early.
She's done now,
Yeah.
but none of her songs were in it, and it wasn't really. It's not about her,
Right.
but yeah, I heard the overall.
Yeah, like
show.
I mean, if she was capable of giving us like Miseducation or something like that, then sure.
Yeah.
that's unfair. Nobody's capable of doing us that.
Why? Okay, because I'm just going to say this.
That's unfair.
Because Nicki mixtape is still better than a lot of your albums. So I just want to say that take the heartbreak, take the pain, turn it into power. Please don't let me see you with another man. I don't want to see it. I don't, and I don't want to see you with a girl. Don't date another horse. Don't do nothing.
That's so
You
unfair.
go to no, it's not. I would say that to a man as well, Klay.
That's unfair.
Klay, I would have made Klay sign a non-compete. I don't want to see you with no more rappers, and you wasn't on ESPN before this, so keep splashing, brother. Don't act like I didn't elevate your career. Don't act like I didn't get you more invites. You was not wearing
All
or
right,
going.
so
we not.
I just clarify the record.
Clarify
First of all,
it. Clarence
Klay
Thompson.
is one of the
Thompson.
top shooters in NBA history.
Yeah, he was shooting his shot at too many girls in their DM. That's the problem. You was too busy shooting, and that's the problem. I bet you was shooting, Klay.
4-time champion.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But
And they still wasn't calling you
Clay's a Hall of Famer.
I
But
don't
that's
care what order he's
information
in.
that only mostly men or people who watch basketball know.
Listen, the gays didn't know Klay
which doesn't
until
cover
maybe.
a wide variety of
Thank
people. That's why people make that argument that who's more known than who, because you have to be an avid sports watcher and lover of basketball to know those stats.
Yeah.
You can't just be a passive basketball watcher. I would have never known that if I didn't have male friends that like basketball to tell me that. I would have never known that.
And
You know what I'm saying?
there's a whole universe of
that
people
doesn't
who
know Meg.
don't know Megan.
So I hate that discourse about who's more known because they have totally different demographics of.
That's not what I was saying. I was just saying that she didn't.
What we're not gonna do is act like he didn't get traded. Okay? What we're not gonna do is act like this is the same Klay. You not Klay no more. It's dried up a little bit. It's Klay now. So stop playing with my dough. Okay? Don't act like you didn't need a resurge. Yeah, you was powerful, but now it's flickering. It's flickering. Okay? The light and the spark ain't as
would say
powerful
she did
as
give
it
him a
was.
resurge.
And the gays didn't know about you until Megan.
just gotta say
They
this.
opened you up into a new demographic. So stop acting like that didn't happen.
But listen, when they made the announcement video, if you watched it, like you knew Clay's heart wasn't in it. You know what I'm saying? Like out there,
Yeah.
Clay's like, yeah, I'm on the boat, I'm fishing, I'm happy. Most of this were like, good luck with that. Like, we want
What was he
it to
supposed
work
do?
out.
Do a backflip? I thought you just said he was a private guy. Why would he? Why would he change
exactly,
the way
he's
he
a
acted in
private
the video?
guy. Now he on Front Street, and like if you look at Clay's resume as far as with women, it's like dude ain't.
The way to do it would have been how LMA and Jason Tatum did it.
First of all, we're not doing none of
They're
that
not
alphabet.
together.
No.
Oh,
I'm talking about an announcement or having people know about it, right?
Oh,
that's the way
when
to
they
have people
announced
know
that
about
they
it.
were in a relationship.
Yeah, just
Got
like
it. Okay.
you know, like this is just natural. It's organic.
Yeah,
Let's see it.
I honestly don't even know how they announced it.
Child,
It's like they put too much pressure on
we going to the C list or we staying on the A? Because what are y'all talking about going into the alphabet? Elemental P?
LMA.
LMA.
The singer LMA. Never heard of her?
Child,
Well, she can
she's
sing.
drawing the blank. We not doing that. Y'all not going to compare apples to chitlins. What are we talking about? It's not the same caliber.
Jason
We don't care
Tatum.
about him nor her.
You can compare
We
LMA
can
and
explain.
Megan.
Jason Tatum, top tier
Channing
NBA
Tatum.
player. Jason Tatum,
Channing Tatum.
top tier NBA player.
Also a future Hall of
NBA
Famer.
champion, future Hall
Y'all
of
in these
Famer.
halls. Open the doors.
He's dating LMA, the R&B singer. Now they have a child together, but they kept it. It was like,
They
this
keep
is what
it.
we
It's
do.
just
Like,
it's
it is
just
what it
normal.
I think
Because nobody cared about her.
they're
Number one,
two
what we're not
private
going to do
people.
is act like
Meg
these are
not
hot
private.
topics.
First of all, people care about
LMA.
LMA.
It's not a hot topic on a regular day. She's mild
Do
topic.
they care about LMA as much as
No,
Meg?
never. She's never going to be a.
All right.
She's a
People care about
topic.
Jason Tatum as much as.
Let's be clear.
Very
People
male.
care about
Thank
Megan.
you.
People care about Megan for things that are non-music related.
We don't care.
People care about LMA because of her music.
No, we don't. We care about her music because she didn't let that boy sing her song. Why she didn't let that boy sing her song?
Today, I don't think too many people would
Child,
care.
thank you.
About who, Megan?
Thank you.
No,
About the alphabet.
If Megan stopped making music today, you think people would be
Megan's
protesting?
not making music. She's making
I was about to say, Megan,
Listen,
what was Megan's
People
last
may
album?
not care about the music, but they would care if she kind of withdrew from the spotlight. LMA could do both, and nobody would care.
We
Because she's
thought
not
she
in the
did.
spotlight, and
Child.
Okay,
not
let
like
me
the
ask you the
music
same
is that
question
great.
about Sade. If Sade says,
Now
"I'm
you
not
fucking
gonna,"
celebrity.
no, I'm not gonna be, I'm not doing anything, any press or anything like that in the future. You think people would care?
she doesn't really do press anyway.
Exactly. That's LMA. I'm not saying that she's Sade. She's at Sade's
Yeah, 'cause
level.
you playing around with these
Yeah,
references.
because I'm like, wait, what? Why
Let me do a reference.
Go ahead.
What about if Keisha from downstairs was like, I don't want to do no interviews? Be like, girl, we don't care. That's the same thing. Girl, you're not even in the office. Like, what are you
my
talking
God.
about? Don't
All
you
right.
ever bring Sade up with no more of these girls.
But Megan's social media presence and presence in the zeitgeist, that's part of her thing.
What you just
You know
said?
what I
You
mean?
and these, y'all need SAT words. What was your word?
The zeitgeist.
Good grief. You over here talking about cellular, the incellulars. Our girl, we
Good
have
word.
Metro
Good word.
PTS.
Good
You know
word.
what?
Cellulars.
Look, we gonna get you a
No, we love you.
dictionary
It's
after this
okay.
episode.
Somebody got to speak for the people.
We
huh?
gonna get you a dictionary, but
I need a pop-up bubble. What?
next up on the docket is what did I just miss? So Killer Mike is apparently playing both sides politically and being called out for it. Do you guys have any opinions on Killer Mike's political stances?
You,
Killer Kill from Adamsville. He recently came out and wanted people to be more proactive as far as the political system, not necessarily voting, but just being more active in the community. But he got a lot of pushback because people were quick to say, look, you didn't have this smoke. He doesn't say Trump by name. And he had a lot of smoke for Kamala Harris and what's the sister's name in Atlanta? Forgive me, I can't.
Jasmine?
oh, Keisha Bottoms?
No. She basically bought out the black Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams.
Saying he had all the smoke. He never really like committed to saying vote for Stacey Abrams or Kamala Harris, and people didn't appreciate that. Saying he just doesn't have the same. He has a lot of smoke for black women, but he's basically being put through the ringer for it.
I mean, I like Killer Mike in a sense that he's a bright guy and that he communicates clearly where he stands on things. I don't necessarily agree where he stands on things, and I think that's really kind of like just a values based conversation. But in terms of playing both sides of the fence, I mean, he's been the guy who says, yeah, I'm for workers' rights or whatever, but I'm also a capitalist. Right. So he's been playing. He's the guy who thought the solution to the Bloods and Crips was to create a cola.
Oh,
that they both
that.
Right, that they both could profit from. So I think that he's been kind of like aligned with this idea that big business and money can solve some of the issues. Yeah. But also I think the fact that he's trying to solve or speaking to the issues is important. So I'm ambivalent when it comes to him. I could care less about what his political stance is because it ain't mine.
Yeah, ambivalent. All right. Next week I'm in here, Mississippi. Okay. Xylophone. Stop playing with me. Abracadabra.
I agree. In the clip that I watched, a creator on Instagram, a woman was in. Yeah, she was going a little crazy on him.
She cooked him
for saying that being black, and this was directioned at Kamala Harris, that being black is not enough to get you the vote, and I agree with that.
For sure,
we
saw it with Eric Adams.
Exactly, yeah. We've seen what being black but not aligning with black values looks like in a political frame. So yeah, I agree with that. But as far as like all of his political stances, I mean, we're entitled to have our own preferences and choices, and yeah.
I think people get nervous at the platform. Like somebody like him has a platform. He has a Netflix show. He has, cachet among celebrities. So I think people feel like, they have to put that pressure on him to hold him accountable. And I think that's fair. But I do think that how you hold celebrities accountable, how you hold them accountable for their political opinions is probably more important than holding them accountable, how you hold them, because they're people, they're humans too. And I don't know, I don't expect somebody like Killer Mike to get it right just because he's famous. I expect him to have an opinion based upon his experiences. I'm sure he lives in a different tax bracket than most people. He has a different connection to resources than most people. So how he understands like the, common people or worker, like somebody who's like me, a working class person, how he understands like what I deal with on a day to day. I don't think that. Yeah. And so I don't expect him to speak for me.
He's too
at least he's speaking because a lot of people be scared.
That's a fact.
So say something.
Or they just write in the comments like that's doing something. Okay, moving on to our next segment. Who asked for this? Rick Ross versus French Montana are going to go head to head in a versus battle. It's been announced. Are we excited? Who y'all got?
I certainly did not ask for this. Anybody?
I'm not excited at all.
I think it's gonna be a good battle. I mean, do we ever ask for the verses? No. We're gonna watch it though. I think
Name five French Montana songs that you want to hear in that battle.
Go.
Now you're being rude because ever since you left me, more money, more cars, more clothes, more shows. Ever since you left me, I went deaf on him. Play that 5 times because you know who don't got a new song? Rick Ross.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Way better songs than French Montana.
Big Meech or not? And I mean, I'm from New York, so I can't get too crazy because French from the X.
I don't give a damn about
don't
the
do that.
regional.
You Jamaican. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're making me angry right now.
I don't give a damn about the regional biases.
Don't do that. Yeah,
French
we
Montana
do.
is not a contender for Rick Ross. And I'm not even acting like Rick Ross is like one of the hottest rappers ever. It's just French Montana and Rick Ross. I don't even want to.
So who you think would have been a better?
Maybe it's a platform
match?
for French to bring out Max. And
Maybe it better be.
French definitely going to bring out a whole lot of guests.
Because French Montana is not going to be able to hold his own against Rick Ross.
He might bring Diddy and the Baby on you out before y'all know.
So low key though, French does have good records.
Yeah.
But they're just but I just don't see them measuring up in a battle, on a versus battle, on a versus stage.
And the amount.
But also, I definitely don't care about Rick Ross either. And I think
So 2 people you don't care about.
But do you care? That's more important.
Nobody cares.
I think French is definitely like one of the greatest struggle rappers ever. He's like, he's used his limited bars to the best of his ability. He has good songs.
That's a fact.
Yep.
You know,
That's a fact.
He know how to have a good sample.
He makes good songs.
I'll give him that.
Yeah, he know how to pick a good
He know how to
sample.
get on track and go ham.
Yeah. Plus with verses, when you go back to the original verses during the pandemic, it was just a different time. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was outside. We was locked in. We want to see this now. I got them in my playlist. I'm good.
Even then, like, let's put ourselves back in that space. Even then, if it was French versus Rick, would you care then?
Yes. During pandemic, I'm inside. What am I doing?
I wouldn't care.
Because we definitely did Teddy Riley and Babyface.
Yeah, but I like
we like them.
But then Rick Ross, who was Rick Ross's original verses against? When he was dancing, great. Damn.
Oh, I don't remember. Damn.
Right.
I forgot he even did it.
During the original run, yeah. And
Was it
was good,
Snoop?
too.
No.
There was definitely some sub verses that
were skipped.
Yes, that was good. But during the pandemic,
Well, I think
was
this is
locked
supposed to be
in.
more about a concert aspect where he gonna play his stadium hits. He gonna play his. He gonna bring people out. It's not really, gonna be like a versus. I think they just trying to capitalize and make some bread.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's all.
Who would have been a better opponent for
Rick
Ross?
Yeah, for each. For French, who would have been better, and then for Rick Ross, who would have
French
been
just needs to
better.
sit down. He don't need to be in the verses regardless. He don't need to go against nobody. Rick
Davies.
Ross.
Davies.
Now you playing games right now.
What?
Now you playing games right now.
Why you gotta do
Name
Davies
2
like that?
Davies
Oh,
songs.
see,
First of all,
Not
Keisha and Queensbridge something. I know you gotta have a Queensbridge. I know you gotta have a Queensbridge song.
Even do that.
I know
All
you
right.
got to have
Anyways.
a Queensbridge.
You could do French
something.
and maybe Tory Lanez.
oh no.
Nah, Tory gonna eat him up. Pause.
Nah, yeah, Tory
Tory
go
gonna eat him
crazy.
up.
Oh, against French?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Did y'all ever notice that French got baby on? Like,
No,
I always
never
thought
noticed.
French arms was a little too short. Like,
You looking at him too hard.
no, it's when he had a T-shirt one time. I was at an event at 4040 Club. I say, why French arms?
French.
Oh my God.
French versus Jim Jones. That may go on.
That could go. Yeah.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
That
We
might
out of
make
here.
sense. Yep.
Hey, get out. We got things to do. Y'all say y'all want to be outside.
Wait, she said 15 minutes each.
Y'all will make it home
In hurry.
right on time for bed. Yeah.
We got things to do after
I got Jim Jones on that one though.
Jimmy and French?
I think I could agree with that.
Yeah, Jim got that one.
That actually would be a good
dog. Yeah,
pairing. And then they going to tug a war for Max.
That's my friend. No, that's my friend.
I helped him more.
Yeah, Max B will win that one. Be the winner.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's jump into the what just happened moment of the week. So Drewski is set to host the 2026 BET Awards. Is this what the people want? I think it's great that Drewski's hosting the BET Awards. Drewski is the funniest comedian slash content creator, influencer that's out, hands down. Yeah. He genuinely is. And I'm not saying he's the funniest comedian out of all like the comedians that we know, like the traditional, the Chappelles and the Kevin Harts, but current day comedian slash creator, Drewski is the funniest, and he's the most consistently funny.
I mean, I think Commodore would give Drewski a run for his money.
No, absolutely not.
You said absolutely not?
I definitely think
absolutely not. Alexa Layton.
No shade to Commodore, but he is nowhere near as funny and consistently funny as Drewski.
I feel like Drewski is more about shock value, and I think Commodore actually, when he thinks about like different things and like he has like a series and like the reenactments, Drewski is like shock value. Like
I think
it's funny,
two.
but
I also think it's two different things. I think a comic, right, having like being like whether it's a stand up or having something written is very different. And seeing Drewski in that sense, I think is going to be different than seeing Drewski do skits. Yeah, and I think
Drewski doesn't do stand up, right?
At all.
I have never seen him do stand up.
He does do stand up. Didn't he do stand up? I see. Okay, I didn't. He went on tour. I think this was last year, and it was a stand up comedy tour. But I don't know if he was doing the stand up. I wasn't able to attend.
So I think it's different. And I think I'm excited. I'm a Drewski fan, so I'm excited to see him do it. But I do think that I think Commodore is very funny, and I think Commodore will give him a run for his money. But I don't think they need to compete.
No, because she said the funniest, so I just wanted to just say I feel like he would give him like a run for his money.
I mean, I think there's a whole universe of.
What do you think Commodore is missing that Drewski has that he doesn't, and why Commodore isn't maybe
resources?
When I think about,
but didn't they start off the same?
No, resources meaning Drewski has well-funded skits
now,
and Commodore. Obviously, Commodore skits are things that he does, that he puts together. But I think that they're equally funny. Like Commodore's Fat Joe skits have me on the floor.
Like the reenactments and stuff.
I need to check one of those out.
I feel like I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Commodore's one of his initial resources was 50 Cent. And I feel like if you're not in that 50 Cent ecosystem, people start trying to jump over like, I don't want to help him. I don't, because you're kind of tainted because of 50. He was on that, like 50 put him on a couple of shows. He co-signed a couple of things. And I feel like if you're not locked into that 50 ecosystem, look at what happened to Ghost. He's Casper for real. Like, but if you're not,
I don't understand that because Drewski's not locked in the 50
No, that's what I'm saying. But Commodore was at a point. So I feel like that made it difficult for him to work outside of those perimeters.
See, she's a comic, so she's giving us back context and background tea. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. So
that part.
No, but you can see like 50 Cent had a show called it was on like ABC, and he gave Commodore a role in that. And then like he was just like co-signing certain things. Like so he does like he'll give him the Bronson, the Brinson, whatever the liquor's called, whatever it is, he works with him very closely. And I feel like people
it also just might be infrastructure. Drewski might have an infrastructure that allows him to scale in a different way than Commodore. But they're both funny. I don't think that we need to compare them. No,
Drewski's very mainstream now too, just because he's getting a lot of attention from like the right wing. Every time he does something, they're trying to come at him, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I also feel like Drewski is on some shock value. He's a shock jock. So where Commodore might overthink something, say, man, I don't want to do that. That might be offensive. Or I don't want. Drewski got in front of black people at the NAACP and said, McNicker. Like like, why would you ever? Like, that's somebody's grandfather, and he do that for the shock value. And I don't feel like Commodore would do certain things that would catapult so fast because he's taking, a different route.
Yeah, but
with
Drewski's
more thought and more intention.
Drewski's on a hell of a run right now, though.
Yeah.
He just doesn't miss.
Yeah.
Like every time
I'm excited to see what he does, whether it's shock value or whatever, to do the BET Awards.
Yes.
I think it's a good choice to host. Like,
I mean, when you think about it, he's definitely making moves and doing great things. So
BET needs it.
1,000%.
Is certainly
1,000%. BET is
the
not
EBT award.
BET today is not the BET we once knew at all. So they do need this. Maybe it'll revive some of the old vibes. I don't know. But that bonus segment.
R.I.P. Spirit Airlines.
Oh, okay, cool. And for our bonus segment this week, Spirit Airlines is no more. They recently announced that all flights are grounded and canceled, and the company is out of here. How do y'all feel about?
If you want to fight on a plane, can't be Spirit no more because there's no more Spirit.
Y'all got to fight on JetBlue.
Yeah, I know, right? But I do feel bad because Spirit had low-key had a lot of cheap flights to like Caribbean nations and all. So that was.
And they had 100% like safety rate, like none of their flights ever.
Yeah, so the world is becoming more unaffordable, and Spirit being going by the wayside. That hurts a lot.
But did you ever fly Spirit?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Did you ever fly Spirit? I've flown Spirit years ago.
I flown it before, but it was not my go-to airline at all.
I know people that use it because it was mad affordable, so they deal with the.
So I flew Spirit once, Frontier once, and Southwest.
Those are all the same thing with different formats.
Same thing, different font.
And said never again to all three.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, listen, I'm not mad at. I'm not upset that they're gone because they weren't a comfortable airline
at all. They were trash.
But also they used to bang you with fees, so they'll tell you, the flight is $20. Don't worry about it. Then you show up.
But you can't bring a bag.
You got sneakers on. $30.
Literally.
You
get. It's like
that's crazy.
That's why I don't like how affordable really was Spirit, because it's only affordable for if you're trying to go somewhere with just the clothes on your back.
Right.
Like I have bags. I want to drink some water on the plane. Like I want a little bag of pretzels. All of those things cost extra. Your bag, a bag of pretzels, water. If you want your chair to recline, like don't think you're getting some in-flight entertainment, baby. You're not getting that. Stare at the back of that headrest. Right. And it's like, what kind of airline is that? I don't want to fly on a Greyhound bus. If I want to get on a Greyhound bus, I'll book a bus ticket to where I need to go. I don't want to fly multiple hours over an ocean, sitting straight up, mouth parched, no bags. I got to go find clothes when I get there, wear whatever the fuck the island got. Like, what? They was a trash airline anyways.
But for some people who just ain't got it and they're trying to get somewhere and they're going to thug it out, no drinks in the air, whatever, that was an option. That option is gone.
Terrible.
I got family in Tampa. I would use it because I have like clothes already there, like real quick. I'm like,
you didn't get out.
Good for you. Your clothes are already there.
I got a whole room. But only for that purpose.
No, one of my kids.
$75. All right, I'm on the way.
One of my kids is in school in LA, and I would be like, man, every time I'm looking to book flights for her to come home for spring break or something like that, I'd be like, damn,
Spirit.
I'm like, man, that flight is like $75.
You're an evil dad if you book
I didn't do it. But I didn't do it. I was like, you know what?
New York.
I got her the Delta flights.
But listen, if I was a college kid, and I had to find my own way, I'd be on Spirit.
And that's torture. That's sad. You should not be having to sit up straight for 6 hours on Spirit.
You got to think about not everybody got it like that.
And y'all need to fix your posture anyway.
So what they should do, what the FAA should do is and what the federal government should do is they should create some type of like process to like cap what flights cost, because some of
the
it
prices are getting crazy.
Yeah, the flight prices are going crazy. Yeah,
They actually should do that because what's happening is the opposite. They're starting to use dynamic pricing for flights now. Like they
Yes.
use dynamic pricing for Uber Eats and Ubers, and that is insane. And that actually should be illegal because telling me a flight price based on what you think I can afford or what you think I'll hit the button on is insane. There should be no reason that a flight from here to Miami for me costs $700, but for you might cost $200. That's insane. And I definitely think there should be regulation around that.
And that's where the conversation needs to go, right? We need that. Like, I think that sometimes we think it's a flex when we pay more for something.
And
not get value for it. And so that should be our that's the thing we should be teaching these kids, right? The kids coming in, up underneath us is like, yo, like the real flex is getting corporations to change their practices, and getting your government to respond to your needs.
Because even the quote unquote legit airlines, right? They get you now. You might get the main ticket, but it's like, oh, you want to get on earlier, right? Pay more for that.
You get the basic price, then you can go main.
You want to pick your seat?
TSA just to get online to get fast, you got to pay for that.
But did Spirit even offer like a what do you call it? Like when you have Delta and you have Delta points? Did Spirit have a point system?
I don't think
Did they have free flies?
No.
But even now, like on Delta, right? Like a certain ticket, you might buy a main ticket. You got to make sure you get your miles for it. Because it used to be like, bet whatever you buy a ticket, you getting miles. Now it's like, we're not gonna get miles.
Basic flights don't get the miles, which I think that's.
Everybody in the world, we should all just come together and decide we're not paying for nothing else.
We honestly should.
If everybody did that, what they gonna do?
That's the thing.
We're not paying for nothing. We was like, we're not paying for this. We're not paying rent. We're not paying rent. No. What they gonna do?
You're right, because what is money?
Like, seriously.
Let's make believe. Anyway.
No, y'all over here
I think
arguing
we should
over
all
paper.
come together and say we're not paying our taxes.
I've been said this.
Not paying these taxes at all.
Y'all so scary.
Figure it out now. Where you don't get money for that?
All right, so you first.
No, I need 75 people like my man Puff said. I need at least 75. That's crazy.
I'm gonna jump real quick just on the end of the Spirit thing, right? Of course, they've been politicizing this because the CEO of Spirit said the reason why they're going out of business because of the gas prices, because of the war in Iran. Right? The Republicans are saying it's Biden's fault because 2 years ago, JetBlue was going to buy Spirit and merge, and Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg had the deal scrapped, or basically a Republican judge was the one that said this would create somewhat of a monopoly, and wouldn't allow it. And so now that's the political infighting of the blaming.
I also saw a report yesterday that JetBlue is on the brink of bankruptcy as well. So
we walking everywhere.
So I'm like, they were worried about a monopoly, but if JetBlue's gone and Spirit's gone, that still leaves only a few airlines left.
But I think
monopoly could still form a different way. Like,
it's important to interrogate what it means for a business, $1 billion business, to go bankrupt, though. Yeah. And I think that
and why
it means that shareholders have said, you know what, or board of directors have said, you know what, we should wind up, as opposed to change practices in such a way where we get paid less, or where where things are done a bit more efficiently. The purpose of business, or the point of business, is to profit and bleed as much as you can in a capitalist system. And so when a business can't bleed as much as it can, right, and pay these exorbitant salaries and bonuses and things like that, well then the business has to go out of business. But that's not the standard, right? If the standard was, let's do great business, right, and let's not be greedy, but let's do great business, then a lot less businesses would be going out of business.
Yes, right.
So
I think we're in a recession now. Just like nobody wants to admit it, right? Prices are going up. There's a war in Iraq that done bankrupted Spirit. You're still paying more for your groceries. Gas prices are ridiculous if you got a car. Gas prices are ridiculous for airlines. Everything's going up. Everything. Your clothes cost more because of this Folio's tariffs. Everything costs more. And the corporations, they might get a bailout, but you're not going to get a refund if those tariffs stop.
Yeah.
The price is going to stay the same. Your paycheck ain't getting bigger.
Yeah.
So we're in a recession right now.
Stop paying our taxes right now. Don't pay them.
And your rent.
They can't put everybody in jail.
No, they can't. That's why they keep trying to get everybody to do like a plea deal because it costs too much and the courts and the jail. It's a lot. Let's just all just rebel, you heard?
Yep. Don't pay them taxes. That's where we're going to start at. But thank you so much for tuning in to What Just Happened. Shout out to another great episode with a lovely cast. I'm Alexa Layton.
Alvin Aqua.
Beyonce Knowles.
Keith.
And we are out. Tune in next week and like and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any exclusive content.
Bong.